ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG. Hope you're not here to learn how to do character creation the right way, at least, because this is a cat creation podcast. I am co-host 1, I guess. Did we actually decide who's what number? Whatever. I'm co-host 1 for today, at least, Joel Holland.
I don't think the number matters at the end of the co-host, but I am co-host 2, Avalon. And
Avalon?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
That is a new one. So, I am one of the non-binaries of all ages. And, I go by Avalon online, and I really like the name. I basically used my online name to kind of test this one out. And after using it for as long as I have, I decided to just say F it and go with it. So, yep, I'm officially going by Avalon. It's, don't make it weird. That's just my name now.
I'll do my best.
You've known me for a long time. If you stumble, mess up, whatever, I understand. But, it'd be like that. We live in a world of fluid motion. So, everything changes and everything stays the same, as they say.
They do say that sometimes. So anyway, Avalon, you want to introduce the game of the week?
Absolutely, I want to introduce the game of the week because this game comes from my arguably favorite piece of media of all time. We are looking at Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, based off of the Avatar: The Last Airbender / Legend of Korra series. Both of those series mean a lot to me. I mean, this book is just so cool. And if you don't know what Avatar is, go watch it right now. It's great.
Yeah.
But yes, we are looking at the playbook. Do what?
If you're listening to this in the future, like after it was released, there are 2 live action adaptations. Don't watch those. Watch the original animated series.
I will say the original animated series, in my slightly biased but definitely subjective opinion, is the greatest show of all time. It is incredible.
Like, I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra all the way through as an adult for the first time. And I will say, Avatar was probably the most intentionally designed animated series I've ever seen. And so it sucks to know that, the Netflix adaptation is throwing out so much of that based on focus group testing.
I'm not excited for the Netflix adaptation. Why do we need a live adaptation of it? Dude, the animated show's right there, and it's fucking goated, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender as a kid, as it was coming out. I was there from, season 1, dude. And to this day, I still rewatch the whole series at least once a year.
Nice. I didn't have Nickelodeon growing up.
I had to beg my parents to keep our cable for a little while longer, because we didn't have it for a long time. I basically got in, halfway through season 1 of Avatar, and, when they were thinking about canceling it, they were about to wrap up Avatar: The Last Airbender, they were on season 4 or season 3, and I was like, Mom, Dad, please, I have to see how the show ends. I gotta. And they kept our cable for a few more months until it finished out, and then as soon as I was like, I don't need it anymore, they were like, alright, turned off the cable bill, never got Nickelodeon again.
Well, at least you got through it. But speaking of controversial things surrounding Avatar: The Last Airbender, this RPG actually has some controversy associated with it that I think is only fair to mention. Magpie Games, the creator of this, did a, really, really lucrative Kickstarter, but, throughout the Kickstarter, it was plagued by claims that, its writers were being underpaid for the project and were, I believe, also getting not great residuals, which they were really unhappy about because of how financially successful the Kickstarter was. And, like, I only saw, like, part of that because of reasons, I guess. But I remember Magpie Games' response was, like, assuming their entire audience was an idiot. Because they said that, like, the reason that they couldn't increase the residual pay of their writers retroactively was because the Kickstarter did so well that now it was going to cost more to purchase the books. Which, if you know anything about bulk pricing, you know that's not how it works.
Yeah, no. Buying in bulk is actually way cheaper.
Yeah. The fact that they were able to order more copies probably saved them money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I feel like it's only fair that we mention that. Sometimes I know that there's games that have problems that we've covered that, like, I've not, like, thrown it out there in the middle of it, but, like, it just seemed fair to mention this time.
Yeah, definitely fair. Don't be greedy, kids.
Pay your writers.
Yeah, pay your writers, pay your artists.
We all know that the generative text and image markets are a bubble that is on the verge of bursting, so don't try and replace them with those either. That's not going to end well.
Good luck getting anybody to actually like your product.
We should probably, like, get back on track at this point. We have some rules of our own to cover. We might have to break the game's rules, but the show has some steadfast laws that we will go to jail for not following.
That's true.
What cops are going to arrest us? I don't know. We're not paying anyone to do that. There may actually be no consequences. We haven't tested it out.
Yeah, but we're not going to break the rules to find that out.
Yeah. Speaking of cops, we accept no cop-outs. We are making a cat. That's the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic races, no people turned into cats, no half cat, half other thing relevant for this setting, no lions, tigers, or any other cop-outs you can imagine.
Yeah, the half thing will, if you know nothing about Avatar, don't worry about it. You'll figure that one out. Rule number 2 is we cannot use homebrew/house rules. They don't exist. If the rules in the core rulebook do not let us do something or do not allow something to happen, we count it as a rule broken. And if we come across rules as written versus rules as intended, we go with whichever one tells us no. So most books you are intended to play as a human or human hybrid something. We don't do that here. We play as a cat.
Yep.
A literal cat, I should say.
Very literal. Let's see. Rule number 3. If the game includes stats for a literal cat, don't think that's going to be the case here. We must use that or adapt it as best we can to the game's character sheet. That's really only more of a thing that's come up in, like, kind of crunchy, like, dungeon crawler type games. Like, you know the one.
Yeah, the one.
The one.
Rule number 4, the character class, background, playbook, job, what have you, has to exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. We cannot use homebrew classes. Yet again, they do not exist. We are also not looking at any expansions to this today, though I believe there are a couple.
I think there are at this point. There may even be some character playbooks that are from those expansions that we may not, we don't have to look at those, but, like, I don't know that they are sorted out from this list of playbooks that we have in front of us.
Oh, I have the original list of playbooks, so.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to stick to those.
Yeah.
Rule number 5. The cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to do. This cat will bend.
Yeah, yes. It can be, according to the rulebook, yes, it can be trained to do that, so we will be able to. Now, rule number 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. This rule has been technically bent in the past due to some skills available to the classes. There are a couple classes in here that if we decide to go with, this rule could be bent. But we'll get there when we get there.
I mean, most of the time that we've bent the rules, it was either because we were allowed to make a custom weapon as part of the setting, or we were given the capacity to make custom tools down the line.
Yes, I believe there you are given the ability to create custom tools in this.
Okay, so if we really wanted to do cat shurikens, I guess we could find a way.
We might be able to, but we'll get there.
Anyway, not final. Second to last rule is if a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we have to leave that blank so that potential players can make it fit the group they're playing with.
Yep, it's a good way to pick up this cat and get in on the action, But finally, rule number 8 is we have to keep track of every rule that we break. So that includes, the rules as intended of like you're intended to play as a human. Usually that's our only rule broken, but
Yeah, it's powered by the apocalypse. I'll be amazed if we break that many more.
Yeah, same.
Could happen though.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, I believe that's it for our show starter. So we can get into creation.
Yeah. Step 1, I believe, is choosing a playbook, right?
Correct. First, you're going to choose a playbook, an outline of a character archetype, which you can customize to make your own. So we have 10 options. So our 10 options, with a brief description, are the Adamant. Will fix the world even if it means breaking all the rules. Play the Adamant if you want to contend with what doing right means in a complicated world. The Bold. Fights to live up for their self-image and earn others' trust and confidence. The Guardian. Defends someone close to them, steadfast and watchful. Sorry, I forgot to read the other associated. The Bold. Play the Bold if you want to build your reputation and leadership skills. Play the Guardian if you want to be the first to see danger coming and the last line of defense. The Hammer is strong, tough, and looking for a deserving face to punch. Play the Hammer if you want to grapple with what force can and can't solve. The Icon comes from an ancient tradition and inherits some serious standards to live up to. Play the Icon if you want to be torn between your heart and your duty. The Idealist has a past full of suffering and tragedy that strengthen their beliefs. Play the Idealist if you want to awaken the hope in everyone around you. The Pillar is an experienced team player and leader of a famous group of warriors. Play the Pillar if you want to be a savvy tactician who binds the team together. The Prodigy not only excels at their training, but has taken it even beyond their master's teaching. Play the Prodigy if you want to stretch the limits of your training and abilities. The Rogue is a rule breaker, a joker, a delinquent, a figure on the fringes who snipes at the people in charge. Play the Rogue if you like the idea of being a troublemaker. And finally, the Successor comes from a powerful, tarnished lineage. Play the Successor if you want to struggle against your lineage as it threatens to draw you in. So we have quite a few options. And I can already tell where some of these have been based off of, like what characters some of these have been based off of.
Mm-hmm. The Hammer really sounded like Toph.
Yeah. The Icon is very much a Zuko type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. What are we thinking? What type of cat are we playing as?
I feel like the Rogue is too easy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I like the idea of the Prodigy, of like this master of like an element, whatever we decide the bending is like, yo, this cat has got some promise. I'm gonna teach it bending just because. And then because we're a cat, we gain access to these moves that people can't do because they're humans.
Honestly, I'm into that. There was one other one that I saw that I thought sounded pretty good. Was it the Adamant or the Bold?
Let's see. The Adamant is the Adamant will fix the world, even if it means breaking all the rules. And then the Bold fights to live up to their self-image and earn others' trust and confidence.
Okay, yeah, the Bold was what I was thinking of, but now that I'm thinking about it, we literally just did this cat last week.
Yeah.
Because this was the archetype we went with for Scion.
Yeah. So we thinking Prodigy?
Prodigy sounds good to me. Why not?
All right. So the sheets on the actual website are not form fillable, but quick shout out to equal_distribution on Reddit for posting the core playbooks in form fillable form. Form fillable is always such a nice help. That is the smallest text I've ever seen.
Wow, that is small.
Yeah.
How much do they expect you to write in that box?
I don't know. 'Cause, like, your fighting style is like it's one word. Unless they expect you to write the entire description of the fighting styles.
Okay, I think we can chalk that one up to a glitch in the system.
Probably.
It really is so small. Y'all will see this when you download this character sheet by going to bit.ly/literalcatpod. But
incredible.
I am nothing if not a shill for getting these characters into your game.
Oh my gosh, please. I want to know somebody has played as one of our cats and how that story is going. So next up, we have the character concept. After choosing your playbook, it's a good idea to have the full character concept percolating in the back of your head. Before you make any choices, consider how everything ties together. Essentially, what the one-sentence description of your character might be, making your character fully come together so that their high passion and their waterbending and their urban background all add up to a whole. This is just an example. Is one of the biggest jobs you have during character creation. Here are a few things to keep in mind as you move forward. And then there's 4 paragraphs of things to keep in mind. I'll just give a quick skim here. Think about how your character is tied to the scope, group focus, and inciting incident. You just created inciting incident.
Probably a group thing.
Oh yeah, that's a inciting incident happens as a group. So you'll discuss how that's tied in.
Yeah, y'all will have to hammer this into your system like after the fact.
Yes. Funny enough, a lot of the character concept has to deal with the group in terms of deciding what their motivations and stuff are. But we can skip over this and we can go, because we already have our character concept. Surprise, it's a cat. So our next step would be to name our character.
Well, you know what that means.
Do I? Is it time for the
We gotta pull up the how cat owners name their pets.
Exactly. Now see, they do give us just so many names to choose from.
Are they on a D100 or other type table?
No, they are not, but I could roll a D100 and count it out.
Are there 100 names? I think that's the most important part.
No, there's 20 per list, minus the last. There's probably 90 here.
Pretty close.
So we can
What are the
roll.
odds that you roll above 90 anyway?
1 in 10.
You know what? Fair enough. Also, probably higher now that I've said it, but
All right, here. I got my dice right here. Let's roll these bones. That is 59. Let me count this out real quick. Give me
oh boy.
Give me a minute. 59. Our character's name is Yuka. The origin is from the Inuit, and the meaning is bright star. It is a popular water tribe name.
We're a waterbending cat?
We don't have to let that decide our bending type. You know, maybe this cat was raised by a waterbend, but they have a different element at their disposal.
I don't know. I think if this cat lives with the water tribe, then it's gonna be more likely that someone's going to identify that they're doing water bending.
That's fair. So we going water bending? We got a water bending?
Let's do it.
All right. So that takes care of our next step, I believe. Yes, training and fighting style. So your character can specialize in any one of the following types of martial training. Their training determines what kind of skills they have learned and how they defend themselves and others. All companions from across the 4 nations can handle themselves in a fight, and your character is no exception. Do they bend one of the 4 elements, or are they a non-bender with skill in weapons or use of advanced technology? Okay, so we have water bending, weaving water into snapping and splashing whips, manipulating one's breath into clouds of freezing ice, sculpting liquid into a defensive shield, Waterbending warriors manipulate their element with fluidity and grace. And there's about a whole bunch more text. But then it gives us suggestions, fighting style suggestions, keeping feet on ever-moving puddles of water, wielding weapons made of ice, wearing a suit covered in water skins, rapid shifting of water from liquid to gas to solid, jewelry made of ice, and uses projectiles. Ooh. So these are different things.
I think a cat living with the water tribe, assuming that it doesn't like getting wet. So I guess, is this a stereotype of a cat that hates getting wet? Or is this a cat that just loves swimming?
I like to think that this cat just loves swimming, dude. Maybe that's how they figured out. They're like, man, every other cat I've seen is just hates the water. This dude, no. Yuka, not afraid.
Alright, that informs where I was going with this. Because I was going to say, if this cat is a stereotype that hates water, then it would probably choose a bending type that allows it to avoid touching water.
That is true, yeah.
But if we're not going that way, then
I like to break stereotypes here and there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this show is no stranger to making some oddball cats.
True.
I think we're supposed to make our own fighting style. So you don't need to develop every single move they know. A simple phrase or rough description is enough. If you're a weapon fighter, you might write down boomerang expert, or choose something more evocative, like naming your character's style of using a shield for offense and defense, lion turtle style.
What kind of fighting style do we think a cat learned? So it had some recommendations. Could you read those off for me one more time?
Yes, this fighting style suggestions are keeping feet on ever-moving puddles of water, wielding weapons made of ice, wearing a suit covered in water skins, rapid shifting of water from liquid to gas to solid, or jewelry made of ice and used as projectiles.
This could be how we do the cat shuriken. It steals Greninja's signature move.
Yes, sir. We can absolutely give this cat some freaking cat shurikens.
It's water shurikens.
Yeah.
Move over, Greninja. We've got new water shuriken wielders. This cat.
I have to zoom in so far.
That is so small.
It is, yeah, it's ridiculously small. Maybe you can add to your fighting styles later, which is this person being I'm gonna make it to where they...
I think we can assume that was not supposed to be that way.
Yeah, probably not.
Regardless, you might want to write it in by hand if you use this sheet.
Yeah. Okay, so that gives us our fighting style. We joked about... Was it last episode that we joked about the cat shuriken? Or was it the episode before?
It was last episode.
Oh my gosh. Immediately.
We had too quick of a turnaround on this one. I don't want to change a thing, but that was too quick of a turnaround.
Yeah. Up next we have background. Who was your character and where did they come from before getting caught up in the inciting incident? Your background explains your character's origins and training, giving your character a backstory that goes beyond what you've already established through the incident. Choose up to 2 backgrounds to describe your character's upbringing. Sometimes these backgrounds work together to describe one unified backstory. For example, military and privilege could describe a hero from a noble family of the Fire Nation, but they might also describe 2 different periods of your character's history, like a hero who studied at a monastery for years but left to join a band of outlaws when the monastery was destroyed. Ooh.
Or if you want to follow the path of Korra, monastic to urban.
Yeah. And then, so our options are military, monastic, outlaw, privileged, urban, or wilderness. Military is... You train to fight as a soldier in a military unit such as a mercenary, company, or regional militia, or a state government standing army. Monastic is you are or were a monk, nun, or acolyte of a particular order. Perhaps you were devoted to finding enlightenment or helping others in the community with other like-minded devotees. Outlaw. You live outside the bounds of law and order as a criminal, insurrectionist, or pirate. Privileged. You grew up in the lap of luxury, wealth, or prestige as a hereditary aristocrat, prominent merchant, or even the heir to a successful crime family. Urban is you grew up running the streets of a big city like Northern Water Tribe capital, Udao, or Republic City. You rub shoulders with people from many different walks of life, and you might not feel so at home if your journey takes you to the wilderness. And then finally, wilderness. You grew up in a town or household surrounded by nature, the elements in their most raw form, and developed advanced survival skills because of it.
I think most waterbending tribes that we see are fairly remote.
Yes.
So wilderness might be a good fit.
Wilderness is good. Funny enough, in Korra, the Southern Water Tribe, gets a insane glow up. 100 years does a lot to a society.
That kind of became a full-on city.
Yeah. But, there are still people living out in the wilderness and stuff.
Yeah.
So wilderness, I think, especially because this book gives you different time spans too. So you can have your setting be during the 100-Year War. You can have it during the time of Aang's reign, after he beats the Fire Lord. You can have it be during the Korra era. Actually, those might be the only three that it gives you. Oh no, you can do the Roku era. The Kyoshi era. There's a lot to pick from.
Huh. Some unexplored territory by the shows.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the Avatar Legends episode. We are going to attempt to keep this one a little shorter and sweeter on your behalf. Isn't that right, Avalon?
Yep. We're going to roll through this and let you get right back to the episode. So, without further ado, where can they check out the show other than their ears at this current moment, Joel?
Well, let's see. March isn't over yet, so the website's probably not live. So, let's just say literalcatpod.start.page. Is where you should go, which is basically like a website, except you can't actually listen to the show on it. But you can find our email, all our social medias, and really any other link that might be relevant. But let's talk about that email for a moment. We want you to send us emails. Email us pictures of your cats. Email us challenges, like the Blue Mario did. You'll hear that one in a future episode, probably. Also, thank you for the pictures of your cats, the Blue Mario.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. They were lovely. So yes, send us cat pictures. Send us games to check out. If you want to inquire about getting on the show, you can do so there. Lots of things can be done through the email.
Yep. You can also, if you do more modern things than email, follow the show on Twitter, Tumblr, Blue Sky. We are trying to focus more on the co-host as well. So follow us on co-host. As well, all of those are Literal Cat Pod or Literal Cat Podcast. So if you can't find it by typing the one, try the other.
Mm-hmm.
That also works for YouTube, by the way.
Yes.
And TikTok.
Oh?
We are trying to post more short clips on the TikTok. So if you could share those, that would be appreciated.
Yeah. Good way to spread the word. Another good way to spread the word is to rate and review us on your favorite podcast listening app, device, whatever you've got. Give us a rating, give us a review, tell us how we're doing, and if you want more people to hear the show, giving us a good review helps out with that. Gives us a little boost to the algorithm. Every website loves a good algorithm nowadays, so it's a very useful tool.
For sure. You can also, if you want to actually use the cats that we made in these games, go to bit.ly/literalcatpod. You'll find a Dropbox folder that contains the character sheet from this and every previous episode.
Yep, feel free to use those in any of your games. Playable character, NPC, whatever you want. They're free reign, all online.
Yep. finally, the last thing that we have for the show is you should go check out our Patreon if you think we're worth money. Or, like we said last episode, if you're listening to this in March, there is still time to sign up and vote on the poll to choose our next theme. The options, once again, are Wild West Winter or Fall Spooktacular. That's going to be either Wild West themes games all winter or horror games all fall. Your choice if you vote on the Patreon. All you have to do is sign up for the $2 tier and you can vote.
Yep.
We are also going to be expanding our shop selection soon, so keep an eye on that. If you don't want to, subscribe monthly, then there might be something in there that you like as a one-time purchase. We'll see.
Yeah. We're still figuring out this whole Patreon business, so there are going to be changes here and there, hopefully soon.
At some point, I am going to put up on the shop page the personalized letter to your GM begging him to let you play as our cats.
Yes, I'm sure that one will be a real fun one to send out to people.
Anyway, I think that's it for the show, right?
Yeah. Joel, are we doing quick personal plugs?
Real quick. Let's try and be fast for them.
What you got?
For me, I told you last episode that you need to check the show notes of this episode and you'll find a playtest edition of a Powered by the Apocalypse game by me. It's a one-shot heist game where you play as a cat, a bear, a human, a mouse, and a raccoon working together to steal cheese from the U.S. government.
Sounds incredibly fun. Can they check?
I have not finished it as of right now, but I guarantee that it will be in the show notes of this episode. The heist prep section was a lot more complicated than I thought it would be, but it's definitely done by now.
Nice. So yeah, be sure to check that out in the show notes. You got anything else, Joel?
Nope. Your turn.
Only thing I really got is to go follow me on twitch.tv/Avalon Alchemist. You can find basically the rest of my links there anyways, but I'm still streaming a bunch of Resident Evil games. Probably some more variety coming soon, because doing one game series is getting a little tiring. But that's okay. So yeah, that is all I've got though.
What one are you on right now anyway?
I am halfway through Resident Evil 3, and I've only done one stream of it. But according to my friend, I have barreled through the most of it already.
Nice. Are you going to do both versions of Resident Evil 4? Or
it depends. I'm gonna play the old version first, because that's the one I have. And honestly, if I like it enough, I might do the remake. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, though.
Okay. I think that is all that we've got for you this time. Yeah, we managed to keep this real short and sweet. Mm-hmm. All right, go back to listening to our Avatar cat.
Yep, have fun. Okay, so Wilderness is one of our picks. Do we want a second one or no? Do we think this cat has a lived experience enough to have two backgrounds?
Outlaw would be funny, but I don't think it fits with everything else we've said, so I can't think of another one.
Yeah.
I mean, we could make it fit, don't get me wrong, but
No, I think we're good with just Wilderness for now. Next up is Hometown. After choosing your background, select a hometown, the place where you grew up and spent most of your life. So it doesn't really give us any options. Let me check the book.
I'm sorry, what are we on, stats?
No, we are on Hometown, which I know we chose like the wilderness of the Southern Water Tribe, but it doesn't really give us a name for these. Let me see. Seasons and campaigns, running adventures, techniques, core moves, making characters. Yeah, it doesn't really give us a thing. And there's no place to write it down on the sheet. Oh, never mind, there is. We can just say the Southern Water Tribe. It doesn't have to be incredibly specific.
So, Avatar Legends has actually given us a name for the Southern Water Tribe village. It's Wolf Cove.
Wolf Cove. Ooh.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It is... See, this is the great thing about, like, when TV shows make a tabletop game, usually the game part is not that good. Which, like, I've never played Avatar Legends. I literally gave this to Avalon as a Christmas present and then literally never thought about it again until today. But the great thing about these is, like, they might be bad. And a lot of them, in the early 2000s, just slapped on D20 rules without really thinking about how it affected, or how the setting would work with it. But, like, the great thing is, like, a lot of places use officially licensed TTRPGs to turn their lore Bible. Like, if you want to make a lore Bible for your show, you're gonna have a hard time getting people to buy that. But if you turn it into a tabletop game, then everyone's gonna want it and all the expansions.
Yeah. Like, literally just reading through this, like, the same thing happened with the Dragon Prince book. Just reading through it, I was like, oh my god, there's so much lore here that they do not put in the show. And, like, man, it looks like Avatar Legends is the same way. They just have so much stuff in here. Like, they have, like, 10 or 5 pages on the Kyoshi era. Wait, maybe more than that. Hold on. Nope, yep, I was right. They have 10 pages on the Kyoshi era, 10 more on the Roku era, and then they have pre-existing stuff for the 100-Year War era.
Dang. Plus, like, what are there? 4 expansions at this point? Probably even more about those eras in those.
Yeah. And, like, they give you, like, a rundown of every era. It's like 100-Year War area, significant themes, and, like, literally full pages of just what's going on. It talks about the air nomad genocide in this book. There's a whole page dedicated to it. Like, so you actually get to learn some more stuff about it. Just incredible.
That is, yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I learned recently there's also a Buffy the Vampire Slayer licensed RPG.
Oh? We might want to take a look at that one. Or
yeah. Not right now, but
yeah, no.
We'll get back to that.
Okay. Let's see. Up next, every playbook has 6 demeanors, ways your character tends to behave in social situations or when they're under pressure. Choose one or more from the options listed on your playbook, or make up your own if your vision of your character isn't covered there. You might choose the demeanors that tie into or contrast each other when introducing your hero.
These are pretty fitting.
Process. Yeah. It doesn't really give us anything about demeanors. It's like, I think it's just the one word things that they give us here on the sheet.
I got the sheet pulled up in front of me. We've got curious. I guess it's your sheet, but who's counting? We've got curious. We've got resolute. We got proud. We've got direct. We've got defensive, and we've got stubborn. And I think at least 4 of those are things that you could use to describe a cat.
Oh, absolutely. Hold on, let me guess. Curious, defensive, stubborn, and proud. Is that what you were thinking of?
I was going to say curious, proud, direct, and stubborn.
Ooh. I like direct is good. I mean, to be fair,
the bush.
Yeah, we can go with all 4 of these too. It just says 1 or more. It doesn't tell us.
There's no limit?
Yeah, there's no limit. And that they said you can even make up your own if you want your character to be, like, shy and defensive, like, you can do that. You can just make that up.
Okay. Well, I mean, we could use all 4 of those. Or 5. Like, the only one that neither of us thought was a good fit was resolute.
Yeah. I think we could use all 4.
Okay. Wait, which 4?
The curious, proud, direct, and stubborn.
Okay.
Defensive is kind of especially since this cat isn't, like, super defensive around water, is what we've decided.
Yeah, they're real open to the experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we have our demeanors, we get to choose our look. Think about what your hero looks like physically, what they wear, how they carry themselves, if they have any distinguishing traits or personal habits, and so on. What would your character look like on the screen of their own TV show or in the pages of their own comic? Okay, so we just need to describe what this cat looks like.
So, what kind of cat do we think would exist in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender? I'm just gonna Google ATLA cats.
Okay, so fun fact, there is a cat in Avatar, and it's the lady. It's the lady's cat. The lady gives Aang the advice to hand Sokka and Katara frozen frogs to suck on, because they're sick. Yeah, and she straight up just has a cat. Not a...
Yeah, I've found a picture of this cat. It is, if we're assuming that that's the only breed of cat in this world, then, let's see, what kind of cat is that?
That's a good question.
I'm just gonna Google white fluffy cat breed. Could be a Persian cat. We've done one of those before.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a Maine Coon, I guess.
I was thinking Maine Coon just because they're a lot.
It could be a British Longhair.
Ooh, British Longhair. I don't think we've done one of those, have we?
We've done so many short hairs, but
yeah, but not a long hair.
Doesn't really have the beard, but
I think it works though.
It kind of has it. It's just not as pronounced as the cartoon cat.
Yeah, and we're not making a cartoon cat. We're making a literal cat.
Yeah, what he said.
Okay, so let's see. A white British long hair. Now, do we want our cat to be white?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
This thing gets lost in the snow all the time.
Blends in.
Let's see. Is Yuka... Are we... That sounds like a more feminine name, but...
Yeah, I was thinking that. I said he at one point, and immediately it didn't feel right. So, I think Yuka is a girl.
Okay. Yeah, she gets lost in the snow all the time. She does it on purpose.
She just loves that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, lives in the Southern Water Tribe, loves swimming. Alright. So, what's our next step here?
Okay. We still have quite a bit to do. But up next is history questions. Under history on the back of the playbook, you'll find 5 questions about your character's story so far. Take a moment to answer these now using any idea or details you might have already come up with during the earlier character creation steps.
There's not actually a writing spot for these.
No, there is not, sadly.
I'd have to make a Google Doc.
Would you like to be the Google Doc holder for this one?
You know what? Sure, I can do that.
It's a little tough for me to, hold the book and type at the same time. I don't have a lot of space on my desk. The first question concerns your character's motivation, why they act as they do, and what's most important to them. So, our first question for Prodigy is, when did you first accomplish something your teachers thought would be impossible? The first time we waterbended.
Yeah, started waterbending at age 1.
Yes, true. The next 2 questions are about the non-player characters important to you. The GM plays these characters, so if you get stuck, ask them for suggestions. Let's see. Who gave you the lessons and support you needed to discover your incredible abilities? I like the idea of this cat just, hanging around, some old master's house. And he's, teaching, a couple other, young waterbenders how to do their skills. And then this cat just, fucking comes in. And she's just like, hey, yo, teach, check this out.
Water Shuriken.
Water Shurikens.
Or, probably at that time, it's probably more like water gun. Just like a real weak water projectile, which then gets honed into the sharp blade through training. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so let's see. What do we want to give? Who's this master? I can look at more waterbender names real quick.
Okay. So I'm putting down right now just an elder waterbending master who discovered Yuka's talent while teaching other students. I like
Atka. It's just Atka. It's another water tribe name. It means guardian spirit. It is from the Inuit.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All right. Our next question is, who cares for you greatly but doesn't understand your talent?
Probably the cat's actual owner.
Yeah.
Like, this cat's just raised by someone who thinks that his cat sneaks off to go play in the snow all the time and has no idea. No idea that they're off learning to be the wielder of the water shuriken.
Here, we can give him a name too. There is Kalik, which is Kallik. Again, from Inuit, and it means lightning. The fourth question is about an object or symbol that belongs to your character. Something really important to them, like Avatar Kyoshi's makeup or Katara's necklace. So this says, what strange talisman or detail of your clothing plays a role in your talents?
Could it be that this cat just has, like, a rock that has, like, 3 pointed edges that it models its shurikens after?
Ooh, yeah.
Like, anyone else would see it and think, oh, cool skipping rock. This cat literally models its blades after it.
Yeah, I like that.
Wears it around her neck.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, definitely. Maybe it's like a rock that her owner gave her, and she's just like, this means the world to me. Finally, the fifth question is about why you're committed to the group. Skip.
I'm just gonna write your answer here.
Yeah. That puts us into stats. The best part of character creation.
Yeah.
Not really, but...
Well, for Powered by the Apocalypse, it's usually pretty fun. In my opinion.
Yeah. Some of them got some good stat making. Let's see here. Every hero in Avatar Legends has 4 stats, short for statistics, on their playbook. These numbers define your character's strengths and weaknesses across 4 parts of their personality: creativity, focus, harmony, and passion. In game terms, they describe how strong, if they're positive, or weak, if they're negative, your character is at certain actions that involve those aptitudes. And then they give us a description of these. Creativity measures your ability to think quickly and unconventionally, to come up with surprising plans or breathtaking art. Focus measures your character's ability to perform difficult or precise tasks under pressure, to shut out distractions and work in a patient, disciplined, or stubborn manner. Harmony measures your character's social sensitivity, care, and empathy, their aptitude at taking into account the views and feelings of others and acting in an honest and compassionate way. And finally, passion measures the intensity of your character's emotions and drive, and how good they are at listening to their feelings and turning them into decisive action.
So, looking at the character sheet here, it looks like we've been given some numbers and are instructed to add +1 to one of them. So for creativity, by default, we have -1. For focus, we have +2, which, again, sounds fitting based on what you just read. For harmony, we have 0, and for passion, we also have 0. So I feel like the character balance thing to do would be to put 1 point in harmony or passion. But I don't know, does that is there one of those that you think fits, or harmony might be good?
Funny enough, creativity, actually. The ability to think quickly and unconventionally. I mean, we're a cat.
True, but we've already established that we're modeling our primary attack off of something that we see and carry around. We're not reinventing the wheel here with this.
True.
Focus is supposed to be our best thing no matter what.
Yeah, harmony and passion are pretty similar. So one measure, harmony is social sensitivity, care, and empathy. And then passion is emotion and drive and how good they are at listening to feelings.
So it sounds like harmony is how well they perceive others' emotions, and passion is how well do they perceive their own.
Yes. Ooh, that's a tough choice. I'm leaning towards passion, I think.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like if Yuka is going to this master's house, seeing everything be done, and then creating her own form of bending, then I think that requires a lot of passion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we give that our +1.
I like that.
Everything else stays the same.
Yep. That's -1, 2, and 0.
All right. The next couple sections describe fatigue and conditions, which are all during gameplay.
Is balance next?
Yes, I'm reading that right now. Every PC has a balance track on their playbook, which measures the push and pull of your character's beliefs. You'll find each of the 2 pulls marked with a principle, an idea about yourself or the world that matters to your hero. And then there's some other text about it, but at the bottom it says, at the start of play, your balance and your center are both in the middle of the track. You can shift your balance once in either direction right now, but you don't have to. Your balance represents where your mind and spirit are right now and shifts regularly throughout the game. Your center represents your default position, where you return to when not under duress and pressure from others. Your center may actually change over the course of the game, but it happens rarely. Your balance always provides a pair of numbers, one for each of your principles. Those two numbers are your principal scores, or just your principles. I think, so we start off in the middle as 0-0, but I think we have to decide on a center.
So, like, the balance, like, it leans either towards community or excellence?
Yes.
They've given us, like, one set of dots down the middle, so I'm guessing that represents where our center is supposed to be, which is supposed to start at 0, but we have the chance to shift it. I'm guessing if we shift it towards excellence, that means we get the +1 in excellence, -1 in community, no matter what.
That is where we will be at the start of the game. So if we start there, you're right, we get the +1 in excellence and -1 in community. And our conditions can change this. Our conditions and fatigue can change your balance. But when we are not under conditions or fatigue, then that will be our stat always.
Okay.
We can keep it at 0, we can move it one way or the other. What do you think?
Well, 0 is more balanced, but is there an argument to be made that this cat values community over excellence or vice versa?
That's a tough one. Because, like...
we just don't know her that well.
Yeah, I don't think the cat herself would have a community. I think we should lean more towards excellence, because if this cat is usually running around on its own, even away from its owner, then I think I think she would be lean more towards excellence.
Fair enough.
There's a moment of balance thing here, but it doesn't require any attention during character creation.
Okay.
So up next is Playbook Moves and Features. While each character can perform any of the basic moves in the game, your playbook moves are special qualities and abilities that make your character different from everyone else's. Look over the options available to you on your playbook and choose 2 moves that match your character concept or that you think would be fun or interesting to use and play.
Oh, I see one move that I want to do, just based on what we've talked about already.
What is that?
Surprising entrance. When you trick someone by using your skills to disappear and reappear somewhere else within the same scene, roll with focus instead of creativity. We've already established this cat loves playing in snow and blends in perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so that's one. We got that on lock.
Alright, let's actually read through the rest of these then.
Would you like to read through?
Yeah, sure, I can do that for you. Judging a rival. When you size someone up, roll with focus. On a 7 to 9, ask 1. On a 10+, ask 2. What are their weaknesses or strengths? How can I show you dominance/submission? What do you intend to do next? What do you wish I'd do right now? On a miss, they notice you watching them. They may ask you one question from the list. I could see that being an interesting play for a human character.
Yeah, for a cat, it could go a couple of ways.
An open mind also seems pretty fitting based on how we got to the point we're at. You can learn techniques from other skills and trainings as long as you have a teacher. You can learn up to 3 such techniques total. Take a +1 on the training move to learn such techniques.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's really good. Let's see, then we've got wait and listen. When you assess a situation while taking time to use your extraordinary skills to absorb hidden or deep information, mark 1 fatigue, roll with focus instead of creativity, and become prepared.
That's pretty good from a gameplay perspective, considering our creativity is -1.
Yeah.
And our focus is +2.
Is our cat good at research, though? Because this sounds like it would require us to do homework.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't.
Someone else can make this cat good at homework. That's, Well, I guess let's see. We haven't finished the list yet. Oh wait, there's only one more. Challenge. When you throw a boastful challenge at an opponent before a fight, roll with passion. On a hit, the challenge lands. If you win the fight, choose 1 from below. But your challenge goads them to impressive heights. They may choose 1 extra technique in every exchange for the duration of a fight. On a 10+, clear all fatigue at the end of the fight if you are victorious. If you win, choose 1. Your opponent must 1. Teach you a technique of theirs or help you master one you already know. 2. give you answers or an item of your choice. 3. Acknowledge your superiority. Shift your balance twice towards excellent. Or 4. Take your side in a future conflict.
Huh.
Also really good. And I could make an argument for the idea that a cat would issue you a challenge, even if it doesn't use words.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our cat is proud and direct, so I think issuing a challenge would be pretty fitting for Yuka here.
Mm-hmm. And it would achieve the same end goal as an open mind.
That's true. So what do you think a challenge?
I like challenge.
All right, I say we do it. Yeah, this next section is a little odd. It says each playbook also has a feature, a special kind of playbook move where other playbooks cannot take, but it doesn't describe what a feature is. Let's see, the Guardian has to choose a ward. Another character are always trying to keep safe.
Let's see, I'm just going to pull up another character sheet and look at the same section here, because if it's what I think it is... Yeah, okay, so this, I think the feat is this section that, like, for the Adamant is called the Lodestar, for, what do you got there, the Guardian, that's Protector's Burden. For the Prodigy, it's Extraordinary Skill. You aren't just capable in your area of skill and training, you're astonishing, a true prodigy, excelling and learning far more quickly than anyone would expect. You start play with one additional mastered technique. And we're given a list here of shaping, sensing, maneuvering, forcing, breaking, or guarding.
I think shaping has to be our number one, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Would maneuvering be a good second pick, or is that too on the nose?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a good second pick.
You have any...
The only other one I could really make an argument for is sensing, but...
Well, what's the argument for sensing?
We can smell stuff. We have good ear, good night vision.
Ooh, that's a good one. Actually, yeah, I like that. I think I like that more than maneuvering.
I mean, the argument for maneuvering is cat be nimble, cat be quick. Cat maybe not jump over candlestick, but into the river without hesitation.
Yeah.
But if you like sensing, we can do sensing.
Yeah, let's do sensing. Why not?
Okay.
See, when you rely on your skills and training, use combat stance or otherwise trigger a move that while you're using mastery, ignore penalties from conditions or statuses. This is all just stuff for your extraordinary skill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's see. Whew. Up next, connections. Don't fill the section yet. Connections tell you how your PC is connected to other companions, and you haven't been introduced to those other PCs. Cool. All right.
Let's see. Do we do fighting techniques during character creation, or is that...
Yes. Up next is combat technique. Each hero in Avatar Legends is a trained warrior of some kind and starts their adventure with some extra advanced techniques that they can use in combat exchanges. These advanced techniques can be used in place of, or in addition to, the basic techniques depending on your stance move results. If you're playing a single session game, start with a single mastered technique. If you're creating a character for a full campaign, start with one mastered technique and one learned technique. Oh.
Alright. So...
I think our best option here would just be to do one mastered technique, since that'll work for either a single play session or a full campaign, and then whoever is using this for a full campaign can just add their learned technique.
Sounds good to me. This cat will be one shot ready.
For more basic techniques and learn, practice, or mastered advanced techniques, see page 211.
Okay, let's get over there.
Versatile techniques, group techniques, rare techniques, specialized bending techniques, training techniques, basic elements of the training move, results of the training move, going from practice to mastery conditions, specialized bending. Oh,
What's up?
I think... Oh, here we go. The full list of advanced techniques can be found in Appendix A. Does it have a separate one for mastered techniques? So let's go to Appendix A. Techniques. Oh, and there's different techniques based on characters. So let's see. We have some universal techniques. So I'm just going to read through these real quick. Attack weakness, charge, duck and twist, forceful blow, furious assault, pounce, protect, rapid assessment, seek vulnerabilities, sense environment, stand strong, suck it up, and take cover. These have, some of these are rare techniques. I don't know what that means, but I think we can choose them anyways. So, let's see. For waterbending techniques, we have blood twisting, breath of ice, creeping ice, crushing grip of seas, flow as water, freeze blood, ice gauntlet, ice prison, refresh, stream the water, slip over ice, water cloak, and water whip. So a couple of these I think that would fit. Stream the water is push a high-powered stream of water from a significant source. Mark fatigue to inflict a condition on a foe within reach of the water source. They are pinned against something and cannot shift positions or engage foes other than you until they break the stream or you drop it. That's our advanced technique of our little water spout that we discovered our waterbending from. Water cloak, though. Surround yourself with water. Mark fatigued and hold 3. Spend your hold 1 for 1 to reduce the 1 fatigue or conditions inflicted by an incoming attack by 1. To become favored for the next exchange as long as you use waterbending techniques, or to throw water into the environment, affecting it and possibly inflicting a status. Mark 1 fatigue at the end of each exchange to maintain the hold on to the next exchange. There's a lot of words that were not explained to me.
Okay, I think I follow, kind of. Hold in Powered by the Apocalypse terms is, if you succeed on an action, then you'll hold 1, and you can spend that hold to, answer questions off your Investigate a Mystery list. So in terms of this, it would be you'd spend your holds to get things off of the list of perks that you just listed there.
Gotcha.
So, you would have the option to take 1 fatigue to potentially clear 3, if you wanted to. If you had nothing better to do with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which seems like a worthwhile exchange.
Yeah, these are pretty good conditions that you can use.
But it sounds like, unless I misunderstood it, maintaining your existing hold requires spending additional fatigue every turn.
Yes, every turn.
If that doesn't refresh your hold count to 3, then that's actually it's a double-edged sword, it sounds like.
Yes. This is one of the rare techniques as well.
I think it's fitting though. We're a prodigy, so we can learn hard to learn things.
Yeah.
And we're not afraid to get wet, and it's a little bit of defense.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it to it.
Okay. Since we can't copy and paste the contents from the PDF, since we don't have a PDF, I don't know that you need to do anything more than write the name.
Yeah. This is a mastered technique, and it is a defend and maneuver technique.
I figured it would be.
Then I will not worry about writing the insane amount of text into that.
Yeah. If y'all are about to play this game, you will probably have access to this book as well. You can figure that stuff out.
Yes. Growth
Or maybe
question.
we'll get the issue, because we're supposed to have the technique, but there was a bug on Magpie's website, so we don't have access to it. But if we get that sorted out, then maybe I can fix this before the episode goes out.
Nice. Okay. Up next is growth question. At the end of every game session, players discuss what their companions learn, blah, 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 blah. And then introducing your character. I think, let's see, bringing the cast together. Oh, yeah. That's it. We're done.
Neat.
We have created a character in Avatar Legends.
We have done that. So, what did you think?
What did I think? I'll tell you what I think. I think this is a cool system. I like the extended lore because I'm a lore guy, you know, and I'm not incredibly familiar with the type of system / how the system works in play, But I still think it's cool. I really like the idea of having, because you're supposed to have everybody pick a different playbook. So like, if you're playing this cat in actual play, nobody else can be the prodigy. I like the idea of like, having different stuff, but you can even change playbooks later on. So who's to say? Man, for how in depth it is, I feel like once you kind of go through it once, it's pretty easy to just make a character. You can literally look at a sheet and just be like, yeah, that sounds right. Click this box. That sounds right. That sounds good. I like it. What did you think, Joel?
Well, I think it's. I was explaining this to Austin beforehand. I was listening to this actual play before I knew we were going to do this show, where they started with Worlds in Peril, and then they modified the combat system because they hated it to this game's combat system, and I didn't like that either. I wish they would have stuck with the original, but so like I'm not a huge fan of the splitting combat up into 3 sections, but other than that, this is fairly standard, powered by the apocalypse fare. I think if I could get past the combat, then I would have a lot of fun in this system. And luckily, combat is usually not the central focus of a game that uses powered by the apocalypse.
Yeah, no, this game seems very interested on the idea of like communicating with the world around you and also your fellow player characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's very in theme. I'll give it that.
Yeah, very in theme. Because, like, don't get me wrong, Avatar did have action sequences in most of the episodes, but, a lot of the times they were just traveling and talking and helping people out around the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess with that out of the way, Avalon, have you finally thought up a cat pun?
I sure have. This one, I was telling Joel, this is oldie but a goldie. Nothing too crazy for this episode. We both hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, and I hope you have a perfect day. See you in the next one.